We think it's been a big concern among the investment community, and it's overblown for a number of reasons. For starters, even if the deal passes, it's already the existing law in California. So they are required to classify their drivers as employees. And if they go ahead and do this move, we think the cost is pretty limited. They can pass along a lot of that to the end user. They can actually reduce pay in other areas, like paying drivers during surge pricing times. If they're employees, they can have them where they need them without surge pricing. And ultimately, if you look at New York had the congestion tax applied to taxis. They also had driver pay have to go up. And it hasn't really dented New York's rideshare growth more than, say, 5 percentage points. So it hasn't been a big deal in New York. We don't think it's going to be a big deal in the worst case in California. And we think there's a pretty good shot that they can come to an agreement with regulators and politicians to ultimately compromise on the legislation.
Why is New York a comparable situation when that congestion pricing went into effect for taxis as well as rideshare companies? I mean, the fact that Lyft and Uber will have to now spend more on its employees, doesn't that close the gap between that and other modes of transportation that are also competitors? It's not just Uber versus Lyft.
It's a good question. I think New York is a little bit of a unique market because there's perhaps less price sensitivity than other markets, but we still think that it's a good case study in how when pricing goes up, the volume doesn't go down as much as the pricing goes up. But pricing
went up across the board, so if I'm a consumer and I need a ride someplace, if I choose a taxi over an Uber or I'm not going to feel it because everybody's passing that congestion pricing along, versus if that price increase happened just for a Lyft or an Uber, taxis may look more competitive. Isn't that more of what the situation would be if AB 5 passes in California?
Look, it's a good point. I do think you would have a bigger price differential with taxis or less of a cheaper price via Uber and Lyft. But I still think it's such a better experience to use an Uber and Lyft. I think people are very accustomed to using these apps at this point. I think they're sticky. I don't think it would be a big hit on the volumes.